Today's talk, as you can read, assuming you can, choose your 2019, be a conscious creator. Few people realize that they have the power to actually choose what they want to experience in 2019. Today, I want you to do exactly that. First, I want you to look at information that explains how we can do it. If you're like me, the more you know about why it works or how it works, the more likely you are to do it. So let's look at some basic things we need to know first. First, we have to realize that despite what it looks like, we are the creators of all that we see in our world, individually and collectively. We need to know next what powers we have to do this. And third, we have to use these powers. Learn how to use these powers correctly, because we create all the time. But if you don't know it, it's amazing what we create. So let's look at our two powers, our two primary sources of knowledge to give us these powers: religion and science. Now, science and religion are like a Frenchman and a Russian having an argument. They babble on, we, not yet, and neither one understands a word they're saying. But they keep fighting because they don't know they're agreeing, because they don't understand the languages. But today, science is beginning to speak in its own language, but it's saying exactly what religion has been saying for thousands of years. And the mystics have known these truths, but communicated them in a way that the West particularly has not understood. Since we're in a church, let's start with religion. Eons ago, Jesus said, "Pray, believing ye have received, and ye shall receive." 2,000 years later, modern science, quantum physics, is finally saying the same thing Jesus said. But since the language of the new physics is unfamiliar to most of us, here's a real oversimplification, an analogy to illustrate how science is repeating the exact same information Jesus spoke over 2,000 years ago, and many masters before him and many other religions have also taught. Quantum physics today says that there is an invisible dimension consisting of waves of energy. Just for emphasis. And now, this is the field, the waves of energy with the potential to become anything that ever has been, anything that is, and anything that ever will be. It sounds like magic, not science. They call this domain of infinite potentiality the field. And this field is the world of cause. It is the origin of all so-called matter that we see in our world. This field is where anything we choose to plant grows. That's why they call it the field, in case you missed the analogy there. Science further says that we are the one. This field is where anything grows that we plant. We are the ones who choose which potentials are activated in that field of infinite potential energy. It potentially is whatever you choose. So whatever we choose from the third dimension slows down the wave, and the pure energy of infinite potential appears later as a particle, a thing on Earth. It's now visible to us. That's why in Unity you often hear people say, thoughts are things. But we haven't quite understood why thoughts are things. But they really truly are. They are formed things out of potential energy. So we are the ones who choose to plant tomato seeds, an acorn, weeds, thorns. Ever planted poison ivy? Or roses? We actually choose what form this energy takes. Crucial information. We are the farmers, the creators, and we alone decide what seed thoughts we actually plant in that field. We are the one who decide out of infinite potentials what we will grow or materialize in our world. Sometimes I have looked out in the past on my garden, not knowing I planted it, and been absolutely horrified at what was growing. Don't tell me I'm the only one that ever had that experience. Oh, you mean someone had never had that experience? Please raise your hand. That's what I thought. So what this means to us is both shocking and empowering. How many of us knew that we were the ones who created everything we ever experienced? When we first find this out, I know when I first found this out, the first thing I said was, oh my God, why would I have ever created that? And then I thought later, with an imagination like I have, I could create anything, and did. But we've always been the creators of whatever we experienced, no matter how good and no matter how bad it was. Before we know this, though, we accidentally create our world. It's disastrous and disorganized, and I've proved that. I know that to be the truth. But whatever we believe, eventually we create. And if we believe we can catch a disease, and most of us have believed that because we were taught that, we can. If we believe we're poor, we create our own poverty because we believe we're poor. What we believe, think, desire, fear, or hate, we create. I know none of you have ever hated anyone or anything, but hate produces really ugly things. I have proved that too. So until we know that we are the creators, then we are the victims of our own creations. We look up the things, the horrible things that happen to us, and blame other people for it. And we blame God, of course. It's always God's fault. But how often do we go like this? Oops, I did it. This is why Jesus said, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set ye free." Ignorance is what keeps us in the prisons of our creations. But now, today, if never before, and I know most of you, I hope, know this on some level, but not perhaps scientifically. Once we're finally aware what powers we have, now we have to learn to use these responsibly, intelligently, and in ways that we want to create a 2019 and a life that we really want. Now, attention. Attention is the power that acts like a magnet. See his magnet there? He's pulling everything to him that he thought about. But whatever we focus on, we draw to us. It literally becomes at-tension or attached to us. It pulls what we are focusing on right to us unless we change our focus. But if we keep our attention on something, it will show up in our world without a doubt. No wonder teachers have always said, pay attention. But until we realize today the stupendous power we have using our attention, it can be a dangerous power, like any power. It's like you can use electricity to warm a room or light a place. But it also can be used to kill someone in an electric chair. Same power, reversely used. So, pay attention only until we realize that whatever we focus on, we tend to create. We pay attention to what we fear, dislike, and we bring them to us. Just watch the news. Then we wonder, how in the world did that happen? We blame God or the other political party, never realizing that our own attention is what activated this potential into that form. We focused on it, we got it. Now, science and religion are both saying that we can have anything. The field offers us infinite potentialities. And religion says, with God, all things are possible. But we didn't believe that. I know I made a treasure map years ago, and I needed money very badly at the time. And I put on that treasure map $60,000. And one day in the mail, I got a check for $60,000. Now, of course, I was thrilled at the time, but later I thought, why is that all I asked for? God could have given me millions. But we didn't realize that the truth is, it is infinite potential. All things are possible with God, not the limitations that we put on God by our... Did I do that? God, what's up? Oh well. And another piece of information you have to have is about time. We need to understand that time is an illusion and exists only in the third dimension. In the field, there is only the eternal now. Now, this is a really important point. In the third dimension where we live, it appears that everything takes time. But the truth, in the dimension of the potential, everything is already here now. It's as if there's an infinite number of movies in the field. All the movies, mystery shows, dramas, horror movies. How many of us have created horror movies? Sci-fi movies, love stories. Each one are complete already in this field right now. They're all there potentially. All we have to do is pick a movie. When we choose a specific title, we activate that movie, and it begins to unfold as scenes one after another in the so-called third dimension. Here, it takes time to play a movie. We wait for it to slow down and play one scene at a time so our limited senses can see it, because we see very, very little. I forget the exact percentage that we really see of the visual of what we could see. It's like minuscule, 1% or something. So things take time to embody, to solidify, to slow down so that we can see them in our world. Jesus said long ago, judge not by appearances. Well, now we know what he meant. If it's appeared, it's an effect. You can get rid of it. If you created it, you have the power to change it. So don't judge by what you see. Just decide what you want to see. Remember always, the invisible causes the visible. You want to reach the world of cause. That you can change. Changing matter is really tough. After we realize that we are the creators of our world, we can uncreate the horror movies that we may have created in our lives. And if you don't like the romantic partner that you created, create a better one. I'm working on that. Imagination. Imagination is another power we use to create things. Whenever we use our imagination, we image in whatever we imagined. If you imagine for months that the boss would probably fire you in a few months, it's not his fault when you get a pink slip. It's we who created the pink slip. And then, of course, you cuss the boss out. So someday, just go to the mirror and say to yourself, how in the world could you have done that, you idiot? Make up to God. Tell him that you now know that he didn't do those things to you. So using your imagination in a great way to keep your attention focused. Well, we finally realize that we're the producers, the actors and stars in our movie, then we're free to choose which movie we want to star in. Now let's start focusing only on the things we want. If you don't want it, don't look at it. For example, if you want a certain job, use your imagination and see it already done. See your first paycheck with the exact amount of money, but don't limit God, that you wanted to earn. Imagine touching that paper of the check. You know how checks feel. Feel grateful for the check in your hand. Hear your friends congratulating you, saying, I can't believe you got that job. They're probably thinking, you jerk, how did you do it? So you want to use as many senses as you can to make it more real. As Albert Einstein once said, and this makes me feel good, imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions in that movie that I was telling you about. A preview. Whatever you keep imagining is a preview of the coming attraction in your life. And Shakespeare, to quote another great man, said, or to misquote, it may be, all the world's a stage, and each man plays many parts. Emotion. Now there's another power that's essential to know about and to learn how to use. Perhaps this is the most important thing to know. After we realize that we are the real eyes who create our reality. Why? Because attention rides on emotion. E equals mc squared. Emotion is energy in motion. So that's the role emotion plays. It moves or carries energy. The energy you chose in the field. It literally grabs things that we want or don't want. The energy you chose is, this anyway, it's a horse. Fear and love are both powerful emotions. I chose this as a black horse because, first of all, he's beautiful and powerful looking, and that's energy in motion. When you love or you hate or you fear or you blame or you desire passionately, you are that horse. Maybe you never thought of yourself as a horse, but you are the power that you're using with your own emotion to go get the thing, grab what you want, and stampede right to you. I wonder where I was after that. Every time that you are angry at something, or you are critical of someone, you've set a horse out to go grab something that looks like what you did. For example, if you hate, we have all seen hate materialize. We didn't know what it was hate, maybe, but it was hateful when it came. And the horse, kind of goes, yeah, and lands right on you. That's hate That's what it materializes as. But learn to choose only positive emotions. Love, joy, appreciation, caring, gratitude. This is my favorite. I think the secret to manifesting what you want is the emotion gratitude. There is no other emotion called great but gratitude. It's an illusion of great and attitude. Even love doesn't have the word great describing it. When you thank God for all the good you have, more good races to you. So let's try to feel gratitude today and every day for the good, first for the good we have. And here's the secret. I think this is the real secret that we've missed through the ages. We didn't understand Jesus when he said, pray believing, ye have received and ye shall. So the secret is try to feel it. The good that has not appeared, whatever that you really want to appear in 2019 or any time in your life, it already exists in that present, that potential field, infinitely. It exists there already. So thank God for what's in that field that you've chosen. Thoughts are things. You are so powerful. Imagine you command things really to come to you with your thoughts and your feelings. If we had understood what Jesus had said, believe ye have received and ye shall, think of what our whole lives would have been like if we'd known these things when we were 2 or 3 or 4, 10, 20 or 30, etc. Knowledge is power, but only when it's the true knowledge. When we've used powers in reverse, we have created magnificent problems. If you inherited $1 million today, would you feel grateful? If yesterday the doctor told you whatever you went to see him for is gone and cured, would you feel grateful? Yes. But you must feel gratitude first, and then your good comes to you. Then ye shall receive. If you only feel gratitude for things you already see in your life, the good that is unseen is not coming. This is the big secret. It needs the emotional power, that black horse, to ride to you. And if you don't have the emotion of the great attitude of gratitude, then that horse stays in the stable. All right, so my analogy is strange. This is something else that keeps our good away from us sometime. When it doesn't appear in a day, a week, or a month, we often say, this doesn't work. And so we take our attention off what we wanted, and lo and behold, it never comes. And then we say, see, told you it doesn't work. The law always works. It is we who stop working. So we must know that it's done now. The best way to do this is to be grateful for what you chose, even though it hasn't manifested yet. So you might say right now, oh, thank God for a new husband. Thank God for $10 million. It's harder, though, to believe in 10. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen. It means that we have a tough time imagining it. Religion calls this faith, but today science calls it fact. Now, what steps do we have to take to bring our fondest desires to us in 2019? First, choose what you want from the field. I know I wanted a car a long time ago, and so I decided, I didn't decide what color it was going to be. I thought I'd like white, and I thought I'd like gold, and then I thought I'll let God decide. Well, guess what? God doesn't decide, we do. And so I have a car now that is very hard to describe the color. I think they call it cashmere something or other, I forgot. But it looks, in certain lights it's beige, and others it looks a little gray, and sometimes it even looks white. And it's been looking that way for more years than I want it to. So keep your attention on what you want after you decide exactly what you want. Now imagine having it now. Feel gratitude. Thank God you possess it now. And hold fast till you see that black horse dragging your new car to you, or whatever you chose. Now let's create 2019 together. And today we have a big advantage. We have a large group which we could use to multiply our individual power. So if you haven't already, choose what you want to have. Keep it in your mind now. And think of it after today too, but right now, keep in your mind what you want. I'm going to think which one of the things I want I really want. Next, let's feel gratitude. It helps to feel gratitude by touching your heart. So if you touch your heart with your finger or your hand, whatever, and just think of what you just wanted, and think of having it now. Slow your breathing so your body knows it's safe to open the door to the subconscious. Now, each one of us generates energy like a light bulb, but we want a huge, powerful searchlight so our good can see the landing strip. So I want you all now to take that hand, the other hand, and hold the hand of the person next to you. I didn't say leg. This closes the circuit and unites our individual energies to form a huge power source that can draw our choices to each one of us. So out loud, let's all give thanks together by saying these words. Repeat after me. Thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
That each one of us has received what we asked for. And we love it. So watch this video if you get it at home and think about what you want to create. And guess what? Happy New Year.